Hello, and welcome to another video. In this episode, joining me here at Lilleshall Abbey, the place where we left off in the last episode. In the last episode I spoke about the Lilleshall family taking over from William Cavendish and Henry VIII, and before that we spoke about the Augustinian monks and the Black Canons. Today we're going to be moving on from the Abbey and we're going to be moving on elsewhere around Lilleshall, but I wanted to finish off the Abbey section. The Abbey was bought by James Levison from William Cavendish, and various parts of the Abbey were sold off. The pews went over to other churches and various other places that James had dealings with. When James died, it was passed on to a Richard. Richard was an admiral in the army, and his son Walter eventually got himself into trouble. Can you believe it? The Abbey has connections with pirates, real pirates. Walter Levison was fined many times and spent many time in prison for his crimes. He also ran up a huge amount of debt. So because of those debts, the Abbey was handed over to a cousin. That cousin's name, if I'm reading correctly, is a John Levison, a guy from Kent. He became the trustee of the estate, but he died and his wife Christian took up the struggle. She improved the lodge, however, due to debts, the Crown took the property off them. She in turn and time raised the funds to be able to lease the land back, or lease the Abbey and the lodge back off the Crown. It was then passed over to their son, a Sir Richard Levison. He was a cavalier in the English Civil War. He did fortify this place and had a real good old garrison here. However, in the Parliamentary War, this place was pretty much destroyed. Richard died and it was passed over to his widow, Catherine. Eventually, Catherine passed away, and it was passed over to a great nephew, William Gower, a name that I mentioned in the last episode. William Gower extended his name and became Levison Gower. Today's modern day descendants of the family that owned Lilleshall Abbey and the Lilleshall estate, it's two famous people, one of which is a comedian, a well-known comedian, female comedian, in fact both of these are female, is Miranda Hart. She has a direct family line to this place. And the same with Claire Balding, the Channel 4 sports reporter. So two famous people connected with Lilleshall. And it does make me wonder, have these two people ever visited their ancestral home? At the time that William had owned this place, he didn't really live here, and he felt that the lodge was a little bit too small. It wasn't until years later that Sir Richard Levison, another Richard, there's a lot of Richards in this story, came over, Richard Levison Gower, a son of William, took over the place and decided to build a new lodge a little bit further up the road, which today is known as the Lilleshall Sports Village, a place made famous because this is the place, or this, when we get there you'll see, but it's the place the England football team used to train before the World Cups or any big football event. So let's go and see what Lilleshall Hall looks like. So the hall itself was constructed in the 1800s. The old hall and lodge was deemed to be quite small. George Granville Leveson Gower, the first Duke of Sutherland, decided to make this his home. He was such a great landlord. His tenants, his workers, his staff respected him highly. What a grand place to be. Just found a lion. Now upon George's death, it was still in construction. The tenants and landlord, the tenants of Lilleshall and the estate decided to, in his honour, erect what's known as the Lilleshall Monument. But we'll get on with that a little bit later. It was actually the second Duke of Sutherland that actually finished the construction of this site, of what we know today as Lilleshall Hall. Over the years it must have changed many hands. I haven't found much history on that, but it has eventually, or did eventually, get handed over to Sports England. Now it's a sports village, from everything from football, tennis, cricket and even archery. Today though, the hall itself is a hotel. You can stop here, there's a restaurant, and walk around the lovely gardens. We'll go and do that, and then we'll go and visit the person who created this place, his monument, and then we'll see what that's all about. Wow, what a bloody steep hill that was. But I ain't even at the top yet. So, the first Duke of Sutherland was such a nice person to his estate tenants, the farmers and the house, the workers and that they decided that on his death they would honour his memory. Hence the big thing behind me. Made out of sandstone, same stuff as the Abbey and the house. But what a place to be memorised. Just sat here on the bench because it's law to stop at a bench when you're going up anywhere. But the views are amazing. Have a look at this. Imagine being that well liked, having a monument with views like this in your own honour. So let's go and see this big erection that they did for him. Now, he must have been a very proud person. Well, they must have liked him a lot, because his is bigger than mine. Well, I know I'm going to get some stick for this, but the closer you get to it, the bigger it becomes. It's like the biggest thing I've ever seen. He must have been a very, very popular landlord. Now there are steps to get up on this. I'm going to attempt it. Let's go. I'm scared of heights. Shush up, you! My daughter's here with me to give me encouragement. I've only got up the first step and I'm already scared.
You're not even up the first step.
See? It's a great view. Apparently it's better up the top. So let's... Is he wobbly? No. Oh wow. Okay, so here we are. I don't want to move. Mom! So, it's very weird. You know, it's... look, have a look at this. There's plenty of gap. I'm not very good. I'll sit here. So, George Granville Leveson Gower, the first Duke of Sutherland, took over the estate of Lilleshall and started building Lilleshall Hall, which we've just seen. And when he died, this is what the residents of his estate built in his honour. What a fantastic thing to do. And forget me being worried, I've got to get back down here as well, but it's a long way. The walk here is not too bad, and if it is too bad for you, you can actually drive up here. But what a wonderful place. You can see Rodney's Pillar. I suppose Rodney's Pillar and George's Pillar are kind of winking at each other in the night. Rodney's Pillar's about there somewhere in Nestcliff. The land of Lilleshall, Staffordshire over there. Beautiful. So yeah, that is the history of Lilleshall. This was erected in 1833. The house itself, I'll come and buy my daughter where it's safe. The house itself, Lilleshall Hall, was eventually taken over by George's son, another George Granville Leveson Gower. He never really stayed there much, but his wife, she took it upon herself and finished it off to what it is today. In fact, they did deem the hall to be small when the dad was building it, but they've built onto it and built it onto what it is today. It was handed over to English football, or Sports England, sorry. It is now a sports village for all to enjoy. 30-40 years ago it was used by England Football Club, sorry, to train their under-21s. It was also used by them for the World Cup too. Now it's home to England cricket team, and I think the England archery team as well. There's a various amount of sports around, as you saw when we were there. What a wonderful place. So that's it for me and my little adventure around Lilleshall. Hope you've enjoyed it, hope you've got something out of it, and if you have, click the like button. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click that notification bell It'll remind you when I come out with the next video. So with that being said, we'll see you soon.
Just get down.
I'm doing it. Alright.
You're like Charles. You're like a toddler.
If I survive this, there'll be another video.
When you mean?
Oh my goodness. I'm a bit wobbly. You have to film me.
Yeah.
If I die.
You won't. You're fine.
Oh my God, don't leave me.
Hello.
I don't need a dog pushing me.
Hello. Don't fall, you little dog. Well, the dog hasn't fell, and you haven't fell.
Wow. That's a wee bit of a steep hill.
Got Scottish now.
Hello. Hello and welcome